Hello and welcome to ET Now, Startup Central, India's first and only daily show dedicated to startups and entrepreneurship. We have a truncated but news-heavy show today, Krishna, and we really kick it off with the big earnings. And I'm of course talking about Japanese internet giant SoftBank, which is also one of the biggest investors in the internet and e-commerce space in India. Now, their results for the fourth quarter missed street estimates. Largely because of the loss that they saw in their US carrier Sprint. But I think the interest for India is how their portfolio companies have fared. So some very interesting insights given by Masayoshi Son to investors and journalists today. What the SoftBank founder has said is that he's pretty bullish about emerging markets, about entrepreneurs here, and he's also given some percentage growth data of some of his key portfolio companies. I think the first one that we really need to address is Snapdeal, because Masayoshi Son in his presentation has said that Snapdeal has seen a GMV growth of 90% year on year. That's a pretty outstanding number. And if you really go by this number, then you know they've done even better than Flipkart. But we really have to wait and see how that translates into actual numbers, because SoftBank hasn't given actual numbers for any of these companies. They've also said repeat purchase rates are increasing for Snapdeal, and it has the fastest growing digital wallet in India. The other portfolio companies he's spoken about is Oyo, which he says has grown 15x year on year. It has clear market leadership. It's profitable at a unit economics level. So I think that's something to take note of, that he says Oyo is profitable as far as unit economics is concerned. He's also given a thumbs up for Ola, saying their expected arrival time has improved by about 55% year on year, and it's the largest network of cabs and customers in India. Of course, that's going to be disputed by Uber. Finally, he's also spoken about Hike, talking about how it's the first internet company to come out of India to cross 100 million users. So those are some of the insights that he gave. But, you know, interestingly, he's left out three other companies: Housing, InMobi, and Grofers. No details on the growth prospects there. And interestingly, he's quoted Snapdeal in terms of GMV, Krishna, when Snapdeal itself has stopped considering GMV as a metric. So, you know, those are some of the key insights as far as SoftBank's portfolio companies in India are concerned.
Very interesting set of data over there. Also must say, at a time when Alibaba and Amazon are beating everybody's expectations and blowing analysts away, it is interesting to see that SoftBank's numbers didn't quite match up with expectations. But Oyo Rooms doing well in terms of unit economics is certainly a big takeaway as far as this particular set of numbers are concerned. Now moving on to the other big story that we're tracking over here at 18 Hour Startup Central. The country's top retailers' lobby says that it will soon seek an enforcement directorate probe into the alleged violation of the online marketplace model by e-tailers like Amazon, Paytm and Flipkart. The Retailers Association of India claims that online sellers are offering discounts that influence the pricing of goods, which is a violation of the model itself. And to understand that better, joining us on the phone line is none other than Kumar Rajagopalan, CEO of the Retailers Association of India. Kumar, thank you so much for taking time out to be this here on ET Now Startup Central. Tell us, talk to us about the rationale behind an enforcement directorate probe. I just met you a few weeks ago when the Retailers Association of India got together with all the big names, Kishore Biani, Govind Shikande of Shopper Stop, but to say that the recent clarifications in FDI norms have not been implemented on the ground, and certain e-tailers like Big Bazaar need to be shut according to the new clarifications. But what is this whole ED probe all about?
Yeah, I think for the longest time as the Retailers Association of India, and we're an association, and we've been saying that if somebody is supposed to do retailing in this country, they should be allowed to do retailing based upon the laws of the land. And the laws of the land do not allow for foreign direct investment to be taken in if they are a multi-brand retailer in the country. Many of the marketplaces were circumventing this, and they were calling themselves as marketplace and going ahead and doing all those things that retailers would do. The DIPP has come out with its clarification, very clearly stated that if a marketplace has brought in funds from outside of this country on an FDI route, then they are not allowed to do those things which tend to amount to retail. And the four things that they have stated in very clear terms, which has been that they should not be doing an inventory-led model. They should not be participating in pricing directly or indirectly in whatever manner. They should be talking about the seller's name whenever they put up any stocks up for grab for the consumers. And also they should not be giving any kind of guarantee or warranty on these goods that they sell on their own, because the guarantee or the warranty is the right of the seller. And in spite of this, I think we're finding that many of these marketplaces which have got foreign direct investment in this country has gone ahead and doing all those things that they were always accustomed to doing. In the sense that they've got their own private labels. How could one have private labels if they are not participating in pricing? You can't be having a private label at the same time say that I don't influence pricing. Many of them have got private labels which has got their own names also printed on it, in which case it is purely their own stocks. Many of them are still giving all kinds of guarantees and warranties, which is not supposed to be given by them. It has to be given by the sellers. So we are finding that most of these marketplace companies with 100% FDI are violating the rules, and they are treading on the shoes of the retailers. We've always, for the longest time, said,
sir, but considering
playing field.
Mr. Rajagopalan, I just want to interrupt you for a second. Considering the government has released the new norms for FDI and e-commerce just a few weeks back, these entities are still figuring out, how to restructure India operations. I mean, this really, this almost seems like a witch hunt that, you're now knocking on the doors of the ED to take action. Why is this move necessary now, considering there are already new norms that have been prescribed by the government, which these e-tailers have to implement?
See, firstly, these are not new norms. These are clarifications that have come in. The laws were already existing. So if you look at it, it's not a modification, it's a clarification. Secondly, you in your own question is saying these are e-tailers. If it's a e-tailer, it's a retailer. All of us are accustomed to thinking that these are e-tailers because of the way they deal with it. Every single consumer believes that they are dealing with all these marketplaces directly as an e-tailer. They think Amazon is the seller, they think Flipkart is the seller, they think Snapdeal is the seller. That is the way it works. So the fact is that somebody has to take this action. Now, it's not a witch hunt. I think it's just unfair that some retailers are not allowed to get money from outside. The other retailers are circumventing the rules. So I think it's a matter of thinking how to go about this. Now, this is not an e-commerce versus brick and mortar at all. It's very clearly a fact of how can some people flout the FDI norms in this country with the backing of various foreign institutions and they get away with it.
Right. Thank you for putting that in perspective. I guess, Krishna, we'll have to wait and see how this war pans out going forward, and if the ED probe will indeed happen based on what the REI wants. But moving on to that, to social networking giant Facebook, which seems like, it wants its finger in pretty much every pie, apart from social media to news and to now promoting businesses. That's really Facebook's latest focus. It's rolled out initiatives targeted at SMEs and also women entrepreneurs. Rahul Rama caught up with Facebook's head of economic growth initiatives, Ritesh Mehta, to really know what the focus area is going to be as far as this is concerned going forward, and the steps that they also have.
Boost Your Business is our way of making sure that we are empowering entrepreneurs across the country and across the region on how can they use Facebook to build and grow their businesses. So this is a hands-on initiative where we go city to city, gather entrepreneurs who are interested in learning about what role Facebook can play in their business, and then we educate them and teach them in their own language in terms of the different tools and various options that they have available. So this is our way of helping the economic growth of the country and making sure that we are helping businesses succeed.
All right. Also, I want to dig in a little deeper and know what's really driving your interest in this area, because, India, the internet boom, so to say, e-tailers going out and wooing SMEs, entrepreneurs who can sell products on these sites. As far as Facebook is concerned, because, we have been using Facebook to market our products one way or the other. What's driving the interest as far as Facebook is concerned?
So what's driving the interest for Facebook is the ability and the opportunity to create the awareness. So as you rightly said, we've all been using Facebook for years. years. But the first thing when you think about Facebook comes to mind is it's an avenue for people to connect with people. Not everybody thinks of it as businesses to connect with people. So we want to make sure that while it's a great platform for people to connect with people, businesses also see it as an opportunity to reach out to more and more users and do it at scale and do it globally and nationally and do it for free.
But I'm sure you'd be even more glad if this also at a later stage goes on and becomes a source of revenue. Advertising really a big option there.
If they see value in it and they choose to advertise, that's great. So if that happens, sure. But at the end of the day, the same way we work with our normal Facebook product, which is free for everybody who uses it, our goal is to create a community of people where everybody is connected, and not everybody is connected until businesses are also connected with people.
You have toured many cities there. In terms of response that you've got from entrepreneurs, what have you picked up? What challenges are they facing? And going forward, how many cities do you plan to tour? Any numbers that you can share with us? How many entrepreneurs you've interacted with? What issues do they face?
Sure. So far we have gone to, I think 7 or 8 cities across India, and we have trained more than 4,000 entrepreneurs through these initiatives. The response has been phenomenal. They have been really, really interested in making progress and learning what Facebook can help with. The challenges that they have faced essentially has been lack of knowledge, right? So they haven't known in the past, so now they know. The other challenge was a lot of our resources were in English. So all the cities that we toured in UP, we delivered all of our training in Hindi.
Live video that Facebook launched recently has indeed garnered pace. A lot of them are using it. As far as entrepreneurs are concerned, are you seeing adoption from them as well?
So we are definitely seeing adoption across the board, including entrepreneurs. I personally have seen a few interesting examples of it. So I live in Delhi, and then I've seen one, I don't remember the name of the page, but a restaurant owner showing the kitchen and saying, here is where the magic is made, right? So that's an amazing example. I've also seen people in crafts business showing artisans making the products live as well. So we are seeing very interesting use cases. This is a classic example of how you make a technology available and people use their creativity to really take it to the next level. So that's what we are seeing with entrepreneurs in live as well.
And now it's time for our segment, Number Crunch, Number of the Day. And for a change, Chandra, since it is a truncated show, I will be the one to come up with a number of the day as far as this show is concerned. The number is $285 million. Yes, $285 million. That's the amount of money invested in the consumer healthcare space among startups since 2015. $285 million. That is a whopping sum of money, and I can understand that number coming in as far as the consumer healthcare space is concerned, considering the way medical expenses are rising by the day. Every visit to the doctor burns a big hole in your wallet and in your bank account. And no wonder then startups are rising to the occasion. Startups are starting up for a cause in the consumer healthcare space, and that's the reason why you find $285 million being pumped into those startups. Investors also seeing the value in it as far as the startup space is concerned. Consumer healthcare space attracting $285 million. Chandra.
Interesting number coming there, Krishna, from traction. But I guess, this is really looking at startups who actually solve problems, aggregating doctors, aggregating health services, and really using technology to address issues surrounding health and education. I guess that's something that will only gain traction going forward. But I guess with that, we come to the end of this truncated but news-heavy episode of Startup Central.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.